I'm Wayne Shepherd talking with Bruce Smith, who is president and CEO of Wycliffe Associates. And Bruce, thanks for taking some time to talk today.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
Give me a brief description of the ministry of Wycliffe Associates.
Wycliffe Associates is a partner in advancing Bible translation worldwide, and our unique niche is that we recruit and support and assign Christian professionals to work in their specific area of expertise and experience in support roles for Bible translation teams around the world. And what that looks like is people with administrative, technical, educational, managerial, business management, leadership backgrounds are using those specific skills to come alongside the people who have the unique language and cultural skills that are needed for Bible translation and make the team stronger. Those people are typically post-vocational, we'll say, and are using the experience that God has given them through a lifetime of their work to, in their post-vocational years, help advance Bible translation. So that's our unique contribution to Bible translation.
So you connect people who want to serve Christ in a very specific way, but they don't know that they have any translation skills. If they have carpentry skills or secretarial skills, you connect those people with the work of translation.
Exactly. I think one of the unfortunate messages that, and certainly unintended messages that Bible translation has communicated over the years is that unless you have unique language skills or linguistic training, there's really no place for you in Bible translation. And that could not be farther from the truth. A team of people with a variety of skills and strengths will always outperform any individual, no matter how strong they are. And that's part of how we're helping to advance Bible translation today, is by creating a stronger team with a more varied skill set.
And you love doing that, don't you, Bruce?
I do. I've been involved personally in missions for most of my adult life, 27 years now. And I came in through traditional channels. I joined Mission Aviation Fellowship back in the mid-'80s as a pilot and mechanic, and we went out and raised our support just like traditional missionary models. But throughout my experience, I have watched the marginalization of Christian professionals and been sad because there's been a failure to appreciate the value that Christians can bring to that team when they don't come through that traditional channel. And so the opportunity to be at Wycliffe Associates these last 13 years has been an opportunity for me to sort of swing the door wide open and proclaim the invitation and affirm the preparation that God has made in the lives of these people and invite them to be a part of something that they have been interested in, they've been supportive of, they've been prayerful, and have included in their stewardship, but their talents have not been fully engaged until now. And so this is a new chapter and a new season in mission history that it's great to be a part of.
I'm tempted to talk to you about your adventures as a missionary pilot, but that'll have to be another conversation sometime, and I'm sure it has its own stories to tell. But Bruce, I want to talk to you as president and CEO of Wycliffe Associates. You count as a good partner DSA. How has DSA helped Wycliffe and Associates?
Yeah, when I first came to Wycliffe Associates 13 years ago, we were working with another contractor and telling our story through the mail, through the web, which was sort of an early Web 1.0 sort of attempt for us. And we were seeing reasonable results. But as we aimed toward accelerating Bible translation further and really being part of what we call Vision 2025, which is a goal to see all the languages of the world have translation begun before the year 2025, we had to really review every aspect of our ministry, operationally, financially, personnel, every aspect. And in that process, we considered a variety of options and ultimately chose to partner with DSA. The initial reason for that choice has been proven over and over again to be a great choice because what we saw at Doug Shaw and Associates was an appreciation for both the art and the science of communication. And we had previously had great appreciation and good contributions from vendors in terms of the art, but we did not have good data. We did not have good scientific support for our strategies. And that combination at Doug Shaw and Associates has proven to be extremely powerful for us. We've seen, I just took a glance again this morning, we've seen about a 50% increase in our direct mail results just in that aspect alone. But in terms of the growth of our donor file, new donor acquisition, improvement in web communications, improvement in management of our major donor relationships, all of those aspects of donor relationships are vastly improved because of the art and science and partnership of DSA with our ministry. So we are very happy with that decision. We view DSA as really almost a department of our ministry and see their people really as our people, and really feel that close level of fidelity and partnership that is quite unique in this particular season of life and ministry.
That's a strong statement. Ecclesiastes tells us that a cord of three strands is not easily broken, and that sounds like what you're talking about.
Yeah, I often quote that same verse, and I completely agree. We really feel like DSA has chosen and been very intentional to weave themselves into understanding our ministry, listening to our particular needs, and not just in a static way, but in a dynamic way, because opportunities change day by day, week by week, month by month, and being responsive to those opportunities is one of the reasons why DSA continues to be a really important partner for us.
How has DSA helped you frame the message, the communication you'd like to have with those who perhaps could become involved with Wycliffe Associates?
That has been an interesting journey for me personally. This is my first role as a chief executive officer and as president of a ministry. And again, just to contrast the pre-DSA period with the current DSA time, before DSA, we were communicating our message to a writer or to a team, and then that message was in many ways being communicated with their voice. In contrast to that, the DSA approach has been very intentional and I think very successful at spending more of their time listening and working very hard to communicate my voice personally, for good and for ill. But that has been a very different sort of strategy to where I see in their letters, in their communications, in the way that they respond to us, I see my voice and my fingerprints all over that message. And that has been sort of a transparency that they've provided in connecting me with our ministry message to our supporters, and has, I guess, been a major factor in improving those relationships. So I really appreciate that transparency.
That's key, isn't it? It's not a corporation. It's not a big ministry. It's a person. It's people helping people.
Well, sometimes I wish that it was less personal, because I feel pretty vulnerable in that position myself, and I'm more aware of my weaknesses than a lot of other people are. But God has blessed that closer proximity with our partners, and that has been a huge encouragement to me as a leader, and I think it's been an encouragement to our financial partners, because they feel like they're getting an unfiltered message. They feel like they're getting the truth without spin and without distortion, and that has given them the information they need to make their stewardship decisions more intelligently.
Mm-hmm. Bruce, I know that close to your heart are new technologies in Bible translation. Talk to that issue and talk about how DSA has connected with your donors in that regard.
Well, this has been a relatively recent strategic prioritization for our ministry. Our primary contribution to Bible translation throughout our 45-year history has been to bring Christian professionals with unique skills and competencies to support the translation teams. a couple of years ago, it became clear to us that the information infrastructure for Bible translation teams and acceleration of translation around the world was not keeping pace with the goal of Vision 2025. So we began recruiting people with information technology skills and experience to create a team within our organization that could increase our support for Bible translation teams technically. Along with that, of course, are the technical tools, laptops, netbooks, solar panels, power supplies, those kinds of things, along with satellite modems to connect to the internet, online databases and references for training and those kinds of things. And so in that process, that's been a sort of an emerging strategic impact for our ministry in supporting Bible translation. And DSA has been completely in sync with that is probably the best description I can give. They listened to it, even though it represented somewhat of a shift from our traditional messaging of providing physical infrastructure, buildings, airstrip repair, those kinds of things that we've done in the past, physical infrastructure. When we made the shift to increasing our message on the information infrastructure, DSA was attentive. They were fully engaged, and they were ready to step forward in faith at the same time that we were. So I didn't feel any kind of delay in the process or any need to convince them. They were ready to move at the same pace we were, and that creates efficiencies in terms of our ability to respond to the requests for support from the field and to keep our donor base in sync with those kinds of strategic changes. Otherwise, you just end up with delays and inefficiencies in that process that undermine our ability to meet our strategic goals.
Sounds pretty exciting as you roll with the times and the technology involved.
Well, it is. It's meant for a fast pace of change, but as a ministry that's intentionally opportunistic about those strategic responses to the needs in the field, we've been very encouraged to have a communications partner that is as opportunistic as we are and doesn't encumber us with a lot of either tradition or bureaucracy or limitations in limiting our ability to move forward. So it's like a three-legged race. You gotta stay in sync with your partners, and they've certainly done that.
Or everybody falls down, right?
Exactly right.
In addition to the broad-based support, the donor support that's needed, you also need some major donors to come along. And how has DSA helped with that?
Well, they've helped us understand our donors from a perspective of data instead of just anecdotal thinking by our team. And one of our key leaders in this whole area says, "In God we trust, all others bring data." And DSA has helped us understand who those partners are that both have capacity and are engaged, whether they're well engaged or poorly engaged, to have a better understanding of how to communicate with that segment and how to engage the right people, has fueled a tremendous amount of growth in our annual budget each year, and that's fully apart from our direct mail or our web-based strategies. That's just in our relational fundraising strategies. So they've really given us the data tools and messaging that can help us effectively communicate with that group of people. I just came back from our annual major donor event. This is our first year of having two of these events, and 75% of the people at this event this spring were first-time attendees to our major donor event. We would not have known who to invite or how to invite them without the kind of data intelligence that's possible through the analytics that DSA provides us. So the blessing of it all is that those people who, even though they were first-time attendees, they responded very positively and with great generosity and support for our mission strategies. And so it's not just a matter of knowing who to talk to, it's a matter of delivering the message and being able to follow through in a way that helps them make stewardship decisions that advance our ministry. And from my vantage point, DSA is integral to that process. I'm not sure how we would stagger forward without that kind of intelligence and information and counsel from DSA.
And isn't it great to have partners in ministry like that, people you're in lockstep with?
It is great, and it's greater because it's so exceptional. It's hard for me to even say who the second partner that we would describe in a similar way to DSA might be in terms of our ministry today. I'm sure I could rank some of them out, but DSA is far and away the closest partner that we have in helping our mission to succeed, because they link us to our stakeholders, and without them, we do nothing. So we're grateful to have that quality of partnership at that most crucial organizational and ministry function of keeping us connected to our financial partners.
And Bruce, are you willing to share DSA? Do you recommend DSA to other ministries?
Well, I've had that opportunity on a number of occasions where people have called me and asked for my reference with regard to DSA, and my response is typically, we are willing for others to utilize this resource that has helped us so tremendously, as long as it doesn't compromise their service to us, which it never has. It's an organization that has managed itself in a way to respond to other ministries without sacrificing service to their existing ministries. And so we've had a long enough time horizon working with DSA. This is, I think, our 7th year, that I'm not nervous about recommending them to other people, because I know they will garner the professional resources they need to be able to serve those other partners in a way that does not compromise their service to us. And we certainly have, and I think we share with DSA, a view of God's resources that's an abundance viewpoint. We don't view other ministries as in any way impinging upon God's provision for ours, and so it's easy to trust a partner like DSA to manage the donor relationships for multiple organizations without feeling threatened at all ourselves. Every verse, every tongue, every heart, right? That's our mantra and our vision. It's a great message to communicate to the people in the communities and in the churches across our country who are interested in finding ways to have their stewardship make the most difference for eternity. We're so thankful for the ministry of Wycliffe Associates, and for you, Bruce. Thank you for your time today. It's been my pleasure. Bruce Smith, President and CEO of Wycliffe Associates, and I'm Wayne Shepherd.